Hey, my fellow bookworms and constant readers, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while. I have been super busy this summer. No time really to read. But I finally got through Stephen King's Mr. Mercedes. It's not a terribly long book. It's just I work 10 to 12 hours a day on my thesis, plus I have other stuff that I have to do, so I really haven't a lot of time to read. I figured this summer I would have some, but I don't. Hopefully that changes soon because I have answered my thesis questions. I just have to do statistical analysis and write the thing up. So, let's get on with Stephen King's Mr. Mercedes. Every Stephen King video I do, I always try not to be biased, because if you're a regular viewer of my channel, you know I love Stephen King. Stephen King's my dude. This whole channel's based around Stephen King and his books. But the last 3 or 4 books have just been like amazing. Like, this is like Stephen King at his best, and this continues with the last books that we've done. So this is Mr. Mercedes, and like every video, we're going to start out with reviewing the covers, because like I say in every video, I'm a firm believer you can judge a book by its cover. I have bought numerous books just because of the cover or the title, and they've turned out to be fantastic. So, I've got, like all Stephen King videos, the two versions I have. So first is the paperback. This is the one that I actually read. There's the cover, the front, the spine, the back. The back's kind of plain. It's got a synopsis of what the story's about. Stephen King. I like this cover. The blue umbrella, the raining of the blood. I don't know if you can see it on camera. There's a little smiley face on the handle. All this pertains to the story. So I really like this cover. This cover, I give it like a 4 out of 5. And the reason for that is because there's better covers out there. They have one where you put all the spines together and it makes the smiley face. I don't know if you can see that. It's a creepy smiley face. That has something to do with the story as well. And then this is the first edition hardback. This is a much better cover. See, it's got the like foil effect on it. And this is a wraparound cover. There's the spine, and then you got this ice cream truck and a puddle of blood. It's raining blood. This has a lot more to do with the story itself. I love this cover. This cover, 5 out of 5, definitely. Alright, so next, the synopsis. If I have a book that has one, I always read it, so here it goes. The stolen Mercedes emerges from the pre-dawn fog and plows through a crowd of men and women in line for a job fair in a distressed American city. Then the lone driver backs up, charges again, and speeds off, leaving 8 dead and more wounded. The case goes unsolved, and retired detective Bill Hodges is out of hope when he gets a letter from a man who loved the feel of death under the Mercedes wheels. Bradley Hartsfield wants that rush again, but this time he's going big, with an attack that would take down thousands unless Hodges and 2 new, unusual allies he picks up along the way can throw a wrench in Hartfield's diabolical plans. And that is a really good description of what this book is about. Bradley Hartsfield, he is the bad guy in the story. He's Mr. Mercedes. He's the one that kills all these people. And like the synopsis says, the case goes cold and Bill Hodges retires. And his life is just a total wreck. His wife has left him. His daughter doesn't talk to him. He sits at home all day, watches daytime TV, and he contemplates suicide. When he gets a letter from the Mercedes killer, and it like breathes new life into Detective Hodges, and you have this great story of these two playing against each other, and like this game of cat and mouse. And it's an amazing, fast-paced story. This book is a total page turner. You don't want to put it down. This is book 1 in a trilogy. And in case you all are wondering what happened to the other books, that's one thing I didn't address yet, is that yes, I am doing all of the Stephen King books in publication order. And there are a few exceptions along the way, and this is one of them. So the book that I should be reviewing right now is Dr. Sleep. But Dr. Sleep is a sequel to The Shining, which I haven't put on the channel yet. So we'll come back to Dr. Sleep when I read The Shining. And instead of moving on from The Shining, we'll read The Shining, Dr. Sleep, and then carry on. So like, we skip Dr. Sleep, we go to Mr. Mercedes. I think the next book is Revival. We're going to skip anything in between the Bill Hodges Trilogy, and we're going to read all those first. So next will be Finders Keepers, and then after that will be End of Watch. Now, the thing about this book is it's not your typical Stephen King. There's no monsters. I mean, there's the monster of what kind of person he is. Like this kid is, he is messed up. Like this could be possibly one of the most like creepy and messed up individuals that Stephen King has ever put in a book. I mean, this dude is out there. But there's nothing supernatural or any of that. This is strictly a crime novel. And if you're into that sort of thing, you will love this book, because Stephen King could totally stop with horror and go straight into like writing crime novels, and he would still be a best-selling author. I mean, it is that good. This book will keep you guessing till the end, like what's going to happen. There's a few like twists and turns along the way. It was just total fun reading this book. Like I said, the last few Stephen King books have just been amazing, and we're into Stephen King books that I have never read. I talked about this in other videos. I'm way behind on Stephen King books because of school. For the last 6 years now, 6.5 years, I really haven't had a lot of time to read, and I have fallen like way behind on Stephen King's books. I don't have the time like I used to read them because of school, and so I'm slowly catching up. The other reason why I'm so far behind is when I would get to the end of his most recent book, I would start at the beginning. I've done that like most of my life, and because of that, I have fallen behind. Instead of stopping or reading the new book, I just, I'll get to it when I finish everything else. So I'm way behind on Stephen King, so I can't wait to finish this last. I guess we got like 3/4 of the way through on this run. We started doing reviews on the channel for Stephen King. I think like a little over halfway through. I want to say Cell, I think, was the first book that I put on the channel. And that was just because so many people asked for it. They really didn't care that I started past the halfway point of his books that are out. So yeah, I started doing these reviews. But when I reached the end, which right now is Fairy Tale, I'll start back at Carrie and finish them all off. And then the only time there will be Stephen King on the channel is if a new book of his comes out. Highly recommend Mr. Mercedes. I don't think that this trilogy like connects. So like the way this one ends, the last sentence will just have you just, what? I mean, I couldn't believe it. But it sounds like the next book doesn't have really anything to do with this book. Story-wise, it's a totally different story. It just takes place after this book. So it's not a sequel. It's just it's kind of like the Dresden Files. It's like a series. You could probably read the second book and not have to read this book, and you would still understand it and enjoy it. That's my understanding of it. If you've read this book, comment below. What did you think about it? Me, I loved it. I thought it was really good, really fun. Total 5 out of 5. If you haven't read it, highly recommend it. That's all I got for you. Till next time, read more books.